report in Yugoslavia. And that's the 8 o'clock WBZ report with portions recorded. I'm Streeter Stewart, WBZ News. Now, once again, that old gang of mine, the Sports Huddle.
It's Sunday evening, and this is BZ Sports Huddle.
Any reproduction during the Sports Huddle without the express written permission of Eddie, Jim, or Mark is prohibited. Autographed pictures of Guy, Gil, Dick, and Jack Craig waving goodbye to the Sports Huddle guys while laughing hysterically will soon be available with the purchase of each and every new subscription to Unwanted, the official magazine of real professional sports people.
In tonight's performance of the Sports Huddle, the parts of Eddie, Jim, and Mark were played by 3 pink slips.
Tonight's mystery sporting term was, now that the Sunday night audience has been built, anyone can take over the time. Since no caller got it, $50 will be removed from the giant jackpot and donated to the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Paying Sports Fans.
The formation of a new advertising agency by Tom Neville, Dick Bosman, Harry Gallatin, and Mike Epstein will be known as Tom, Dick, Harry, and Epstein.
New York Knicks captain Willis Reed's latest best-selling book, Doing Commercials is Just as Important as Winning Championships, has moved on to the 10 best-selling list, replacing Westie's The Road is Now Clear.
The fabulous New York football giants have announced that they are protesting their loss to the Rams on the basis that Bobby Doohan was not calling for a fair catch, but merely wanted permission to go to the bathroom.
The Boston Garden Corporation has announced that their facilities are available after midnight at very reasonable rates for any producer wishing to make realistic horror movies.
Network Ned Foster produced tonight's Sports Huddle program while appearing incognito as a Milwaukee transplant.
Long-playing records of the Bruins management and players joyfully singing "We Hate to See You Go" to the Sports Huddle gang will soon be for sale at leading bow tie boutiques everywhere.
Be sure and tune in WBZ next Sunday night at 8 p.m. for the Dick Stockton program, when Dick's special guest definitely will not be Eddie, Jim, or Mark.
And this hour of the Sports Huddle is brought to you by Yokin's, the sporting man's restaurant to treat his family to a great meal. The Golf House in Norwell and Saugus, the professional golf people for the everyday golfer. And the Souvenir Shop, 19 Jersey Street in Boston, where you can send for their souvenir catalog. And the Natick Mall, open 6 nights a week with climate-controlled shopping comfort on the Natick-Framingham line.
Wilton never. And now we have a few words we do want to say. There's been an awful lot of people that we owe an awful lot to that have helped this show. And I just think that now's as good a time as any to say thanks to everyone. Billy Temple, Jerry and Mae West, Rudy and Susanna York,
Otto and Terry Moore, Chico and Sarah Vaughn, JoJo and Snow White, Gary and Tinker Bell, the Mighty Kelso and Bill Dinwiddie,
Jimmy and Mimi Hines, the Grand Wizard, Sonny and Mahalia Jackson, Sam and Carolyn Jones, and first draft choice, Ben Swain.
Jim and Martha Washington, Larry and Mamie Eisenhower, Mendy and Wilma Rudolph, the very capable Dusty Feldbarmer, Willie and Carmen Miranda,
Bob and Blaze Starr, Eddie and Martha Ray, Guy Manila and his camping trailer, Spot, Garfield and Alexis Smith, the wonderful world of Westie,
Leroy and Grace Kelly, Buddy and Deborah Kerr, Bob and B. Lilly, Spider and June Lockhart, and Brian and Julie London.
The very capable Herb Ralby, Tom and Allie McGraw, Bill and Gwen Burton, Spencer and Susan Haywood, Hal and Ilka Chase, Dave and Agnes Moorhead,
Bob and Virginia Wolf, Willie and Martha Mitchell, Night Train and Abby Lane, Steve and Abigail Van Buren, WBZ and the Spirit of 100.
The very capable Herb Ralby, Peter and Piper Laurie, Carlos and Elaine May, Eddie and Virginia Mayo, Emil and Connie Francis, Arnold and Betsy Palmer.
Westie and his oversized heart, Hubbard and Keely Smith, Terry and Gloria Swanson, Linda and Hattie McDaniel, Mel and Butterfly McQueen, and the entire Adams family for their never-ending support.
Marcus and Connie Haynes, the Red Sox Vice President's Glee Club. Eddie and Pat Collins, Home Run and Win Baker, Billy and Mary Martin.
Vern and Mary Pickford, Elijah and Zazu Pitts, Willis and Donna Reed, George and Elizabeth Scott, Reggie and Kate Smith, and the effervescent Herb Ralby.
Dick and Esther Williams, Allie and Debbie Reynolds, One Bow Tie, the soothing and warm Charlie Mulcahy, Jim and Faye Dunaway, Bob and June Allison,
Otto and Virginia Graham, Dawn and Lena Horn, Milt and Irene Pappas, Mal and Gloria Graham, Tom and the Wonder Dog Bow Tie,
Johnny and Giselle McKenzie, Reggie and Rhonda Fleming, George and Marla Thomas, Mudcat and Gogi Grant, Jake and Georgia Gibbs,
Alan and Janet Page, Jill and Peggy Lee, Helen and Bob Hayes, Dean and Paula Prentice, Alvin and Joan Dark,
Maurice and Sherry Lewis, Streeter and Elaine Stewart, Wally and Emily Post, Fake and Lana Turner, Blinky, the illegal walking ticket agency,
Sweet Georgia and Jimmy Brown, Mary Tyler and Lenny Moore, the very, very thoughtful Westy Jr., Ron and Senta Berger, Lenny and Dion Warwick,
Dick and Agatha Christie, Mike and Julie Andrews, Dennis and Constance Bennett, Jose and Claudia Cardinal, the lighting facilities in and around Boston Garden,
Dick and Julie Christie, Billy and Anita Joe, Earl and Nancy Wilson, Eddie and Dinah Shore, Cy Coco and his Bell,
Satchel and Patty Page, Bobby and Virginia Bell, Emmett and Anita Bryant, Henry and Vicky Carr, and the heir apparent, Westy Jr.
Route 1A in Everett, the Fire Department of Chelsea, the entire Sanitation Department of North Tewksbury, Jim McCarthy's Digby Bay Smells,
Sid and Lucretia Borgia, Deacon and Shirley Jones, Casey and Jennifer Jones, Gerhard Schwades and Ben Swain, Phil and Rosalind Russell,
Paul and Janet Blair, Earl the Pearl and Marilyn Monroe, Willie and Loretta Young, Brady and Evelyn Keys, and the very, very capable Herb Ralby.
Archie and Petula Clark, Nate and Claudette Colbert, Miles and Betty Davis, Gardner and Angie Dickinson, the General Manager Cyanoff, Billy and Ava Gardner, and the person who we most idolize in the entire world, Westy. Well, hello to everybody. My name's Eddie Andelman, along with Jim McCarthy and Mark Witkin. We're here in Boston, as usual. Well, anyway, the number 254-5678, the area code to Boston 617. And in totaling it up, this is our 117th show on WBZ Radio, the spirit of 100. And we have a call-in question tonight, as is usual, and it's a very simple one if you want to win an official WBZ Sports Huddle sweatshirt, and they're going fast, very fast. Matter of fact, they're going to be all gone by midnight. But anyway, here's the question. What famous name in sports fired the first shot for the North in the Civil War? You got that? What very famous name in sports fired the first shot for the North in the Civil War? And I do want to say that there's three proud guys sitting at this microphone here tonight, and I know a lot of you people are a little sad and disappointed and so forth, but I know for myself, I feel like $10 million with all the made and the uproar and a little piece in the New York Times today, and I just feel like $10 million.
How many letters did we get? Did we finally figure out, Eddie?
Well, I really don't know, but as we did promise, everyone will be answered personally. It's going to take us a while, and I'm heading out this week on vacation. When I come back, I'll be raring to go.
Let's take some calls.
You want to take some calls tonight? We should say congratulations to the Red Sox, because at least they split a doubleheader today and maintained their lead. And I know that Jimmy was all excited, believe it or not, about Sonny C. But
that's right. Yeah, I'm tickled for Sonny C. But he's pitching great baseball. I'm really happy for him.
Well, I think we should get to a commercial, and that's our very favorite person. You want to bring over that box there, please, the white box. And we have a little gift from one of our listeners that came in. And believe it or not, this is from our very famous restaurant out on Route 1 in Danvers, Route 1 in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And here, James, before you was over 50 Digby Bay smelts. Now,
Eddie. That's exactly what they do.
I want you to eat one, Jimmy, because
I couldn't eat it,
you
Eddie.
owe this to Harry McLeod, and you owe this to Dan Yoker.
I love them both, but I couldn't eat that smelt.
Oh, Jimmy, come on.
I couldn't.
Well, let me tell you people about Yoker.
It's a cold fried smelt.
Yeah, but you know something? Those eyeballs look kind of good. They're sort of staring at you. Notice the way all 100 eyeballs are looking right at you? Except for this one here with one eye, which we call the Wishy Diane Special. But anyway, Yoken's out on Route 1 in Danvers and Route 1 in Portsmouth, New Hampshire has been our first and one of our most loyal sponsors. Really great people, and they run a great New England family-type business. They're there on the premises to make sure all the fans get real good value for their money. And at Yoken's, we tell you that every single week they have 12 different items for the kiddos to choose from, priced $1 and under. And they also have your very favorite beverage, and of course they do have the greatest Digby Bay smelts, well, I know north of Chelsea anyway. But don't ever forget the Davy Jones lobsters, 7 different varieties of great lobsters, and the landlubber specialties. You get anything from roast turkey to a great steak. So remember Yoken's when you drive by it on Route 1 in Danvers, Route 1 in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Great value, they're great people, and they're very sincere people. We want to take this opportunity of thanking them for being with us, and I think you fans owe them something because they had an awful lot to do with bringing the Sports Huddle to you. So thanks, Harry McLeod Jr. up in Portsmouth and Dan Yoken down in Danvers.
I want to say the same thing. Thanks really to all of them who made it possible, and also to Kathy and Tony Donato who brought them in for us tonight.
Okay, 254-5678, and you're first tonight on WBZ and the Sports Huddle.
Yeah, Eddie.
Yes.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm all right. I'd like to know what you think of Jim Lomborg's game he pitched the other night.
Well, I'm always for the underdog, and certainly Lomborg has been through an awful lot, and I'm not talking about his original marriage breakup that never came about, because he ended up with something pretty good, as I saw in the papers. But if Jim Lomborg can come back, he's going to help the Red Sox. They're flying high right now, and I'm proud of them, the way they've been playing ball, and that includes all of them, including Yaz. But the Sox are going to need some pitching help. It's a long season. They got a long way to go, and I really wish the guy the best of luck. I root for anybody that was down and tries to come back.
Well, they're getting a lot of help from Siebert, and if Lomborg can get enough confidence in himself, the Sox are going to go a long way this year.
Well, they certainly have surprised everybody, including me, and I'm tickled to death.
Yeah. Another thing here on the ABA merger.
Yes.
What do you think of this? This is like a super expansion, you could call. So many teams now that are going to be playing.
Well, my feelings on expansion. The greedy owners in sports are ruining sports. The quality of sports is really down low. And I think the saddest thing of all is that prices still go up, the quality goes down, and a human being can no longer remember all the managers and all the players and all the teams. And when I was a kid, I could rattle you off the entire roster of any baseball team or any hockey team or any football team, and I'd be able to tell you the manager, the general manager, and today it's impossible. There's just too much of it.
And I think there's going to be somewhere around 28 teams out there next year.
Right.
Yeah, well, when they start playing anyway. And this is really stupid. Along with playoffs, some of the teams will get knocked off.
I can't wait to go to my first Celtics game and see them play the great Dallas Chaparrals.
Yeah, that would be good. But, in playoffs, what are you going to do? Even if they knock off a couple teams, you're still going to have, 25 teams, maybe even less than that. But
right, well, as I understand it, only the top 24 out of 28 teams are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for calling. There he is. I knew we'd hear from. We're going to be hearing from a lot of other people tonight. We have Bobo here. We have the great Tony C. and a lot of other people who have helped to make the Sports Huddle.
I was just going to say about Jim Lomborg, we gave him a lot of kidding, and I think I said this before, but I'd just like to say it again. Some of the Red Sox players aren't really my favorites, and I find it hard to identify with them because of their attitude and other things. But I always liked Lomborg, and maybe I'm in the minority here, but the guy never complained. He went skiing, and he had his accident, and maybe he didn't do the wisest thing for himself or his team, but I always admire a guy who just didn't complain. I think some of the other players, they get in accidents or in scrapes, and they're saying, oh, gee, I wish I hadn't done it, but Lomborg said, well, that's life, and I wanted to do it, and it happened.
Well, he was making $50,000 a year, I think, Mark, so he had nothing to complain about. They were keeping him on the roster. they went along with him. So if you're going to thank anybody, I think you should probably thank the Red Sox.
That's true, Jimmy. But
they stuck with him, and they paid him his salary, from what I understand. I'm only saying what I read.
Right, but still, it certainly isn't as much fun, collecting something on the sidelines, as much fun as being out playing and participating. And no matter how much a guy gets paid, it really must tear on his nervous system just to wonder whether he ever is going to pitch again and never get the adulation. I'm sure that these guys like to make the money, but I think if from talking it over with you, we see some of the players around, and I think they like the adulation much more than they let on. And I know it must have bothered Lauenberg not to be able to pitch, and yet, he just didn't say, well, I did it wrong. He just, to me, he had a nice attitude. It was a little nutty attitude, I think, but I think that's why I like it, and I think baseball could use a lot more of that, especially around here, where I think that the media merchandises the ball players and really deprives them of a lot of their human qualities.
Well, I'm glad for Lauenberg right now, Mark, but I would hope that my company would carry me non-productively for a period of 3 years at $50,000, 2 or 3 years at $50,000 if I wasn't producing. Right. I really would. I think that any listener or any of the fans would hope the same way, that if they decided to have a skiing accident and knock themselves out of the box, run around the basement of an apartment building on a motorcycle, raising a little hell, having a good time.
In itself, isn't that endearing?
Hey, look, I just hope my people would carry me at $50,000 for that length of time. Well, I don't think I think it's kind of sad, and this is the only thing that disturbs me, that he should have been sent down right away and straightened out 2 years ago, rather than waiting for 3 years to get straightened out.
Well, that's true. I agree with that, but I guess it's maybe a happy ending for both parties.
Well, I'm tickled for him. I just hope he comes through for them.
Hey, Jimmy, what's the story with the Natick Mall there? You got something to say about that?
I hope I can, Eddie. Let's face it, folks, this is not a facetious fabrication. It's a firm, fearless, factual fact. The fatherly figures at Natick Mall faithfully ferret out famous fashions, finery, food, and furnishings for fellows, females, and families.
And figs.
Why frustrate yourself with futile frenzied flights all over Framingham, following fallible, far-fetched promises that turn out to be fakes, fads, or falsehoods, when all the fancy finery for your faithful flock is under one fantastic roof full of festive flowers and foliage? Remember, everything Eddie, don't do that, please. Not in the middle. Remember, everything you'll need for spring and summer shopping is now at the mall. Make one easy stop and browse through climate-controlled beauty. There's parking for thousands of cars, so forget the tedium of driving all over town.
What about buses and motorcycles?
I think there'd be buses and motorcycles
and a rack for pogo sticks.
At Natick Mall, 36 friends have taken the pledge to absolutely pamper you. That's why they filled the mall with all the great styles, colors, and products for the season. Natick Mall, Route 9, Natick Framingham line, open 6 nights a week until 9:30.
Also, there's something else we'd like to say for Natick Mall. This is my voice, but it's their thoughts, and I haven't seen it, but it's on a piece of paper, and they asked us to read. Over the past few months, Natick Mall has been one of the many sponsors on the Sports Huddle. During this time, we've had our location questioned on the air by this cast of characters, complete with map and slide rule. They have burned our tongue twister copy in front of the microphone, and I guess we did, and to surprise the producer at the time. And in general, totally punctured any inflated ego any of the pamperers may have had. And it has been, without a doubt, the most successful approach we have ever used. Avid, loyal fans of the Sports Huddle have taken time out to come to the Natick Mall, shop at the Natick Mall, and then make sure we know why they are at the Natick Mall, because the gang on the Sports Huddle really tell it like it is. And so, on behalf of all the pamperers at the mall, we would like to take this opportunity to wish them all well wherever success leads them, and hope they will stop in at our climate-controlled home whenever they are in the area. It's right on the Natick-Framingham line, and just ask the Sports Huddle.
And I also do want to say before Jim takes the next call that we're very humbled by the people that have shown up here and are continuing to show up at WBZ, and it makes us feel real good.
You're next on WBZ and the Sports Huddle. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, my name is Brian Wheeler.
How you doing, Brian?
I'm from Overhead.
Very good.
And I've been trying to call for a long time, and every night that I missed it, I was heartbroken. But now I finally got it.
Well, I'm glad to hear from you.
Thank you. I have a lot of things here I'd like to talk about. First of all, I was at Yogan's, May 16th.
No kidding.
Birthday party.
Right.
And do you realize that they don't even know about your specials? wait a minute. And I even made up one for them. This was a last year's special. It's kind of out of date.
Okay.
They bring you a nice, beautiful, succulent lobster. This is last year's Red Sox special. Bring you a nice, beautiful, succulent, juicy lobster. And then as soon as you dig into it, it blows up in your face.
So tell me, what specials didn't they know about?
None of them. I was talking to one of the waitresses, and it even had your Sports Huddle WBZ sweaters up there, and I begged my father to get one, but he wouldn't let me.
No kidding.
And Eddie, are you any relation to a Joel Solomon?
Yes, I am.
Well, he goes to my school, and I know him.
He's my nephew.
Huh?
He's my nephew.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that. And you're also very persuasive, because at the end of 1969, I used to love the Giants and everything about them. And then I started listening to your program, and now I absolutely hate them.
Well,
to prove that, I have the official NFL record book, 1970 edition, with every loss that the New York Giants ever had.
Hey, kid, can I come over to your house some night for supper?
Oh, sure, it'd be a pleasure. You want me to read some for you?
Yeah, just tell us which the ones you like the best.
Well, I don't know. There's so many to pick from.
Well, pick about 2 or 3.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, 1934 against the Philadelphia Eagles. The New York Giants lost that one 6-0.
Oh, kid, that was
right?
beautiful.
Okay.
That was a great loss.
Here's
Remember.
another one.
Jimmy remembers it personally.
And
He was only 21 at the time.
1955, they lost this 30-23.
Leave it to
Isn't that
them, right?
beautiful? Isn't that
30-23. That's a typical Giants loss.
right? Can I give you one more?
Just one.
Okay, I'll give you, okay. The New York Giants versus the Chicago Bears series overall, and the Bears are leading that one, 23-16-2.
Oh, beautiful.
Isn't that just great?
Beautiful.
I even
Listen.
got a song here for you.
Okay.
This is about sports, Boston sports teams.
Tell me, is it a long song?
No, it's very short.
Okay.
Okay? Hey, have you ever tried really cheering out for the Boston side? I may be talking to no one,
The regular
but
Bobby
just
Green.
listen for fun. Ooh, for those who don't do well, more Boston sports buttons are what we should sell. If you believe in our teams like I do, then we'll pull them through. That's it.
Great. The ending especially, I think it really has got people standing on their feet.
Well, I hope so. I'm really all excited about talking to you because, in my opinion, you're the greatest, and we're really everyone, I'm sure, in the whole wide world is sorry to see you go. Even the calling all Chinese sports people.
Let me just say one thing before you go, okay?
Yeah.
So you won't go sadly.
Yeah.
Don't count us out, all right?
No, look, I'm just waiting to hear whatever radio station's got you on there.
Okay, kid.
Okay.
Thanks for everything.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And you're next on WBZ, the spirit of 100 in the Sports Huddle.
Hi, Eddie.
Yes.
Stephen Schwartz from Chelsea.
Stephen, I was hoping you would call
Why would you say that?
because I idolize you.
Well, because I idolize you, Mark, and
No,
Jim.
Stephen, I idolize you.
Well,
You know, Eddie, wasn't it Stephen who called a long time ago and promised to get us over the bridge without paying the toll?
That's right, Stephen. You had connections to get over the Tobin Bridge.
Where are our passes, Steve?
well,
Okay, Stephen. what do
well,
you
I have here a poem that I wrote up for you, Mark, and Jim. I'd like to read it to you.
want? Go ahead.
Okay,
Watch your onomatopoeia.
right. For Eddie, Mark, and Jim, 3 real nice guys. In sports, they're always trying to make fans wise. The Sports Huddle's matinee idols, 3 men who shall never fall. I swear to God you're the greatest to me, because I have your pictures framed on my wall. After tonight, the Sports Huddle will be memories to me, memories that will last forever. And even though you leave my life, I know you'll become better and better.
Hey, Stephen, that was really nice.
Well,
And you want to know something?
What?
You know the Sports Huddle guys,
Yes, I saw in person at the Natick Mall.
and you know what kind of people we are.
Great men.
And they're gonna have to, they're gonna have to bring in an awful lot of people from out of town to beat us down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, kid.
And I called. I didn't get my wrestling tickets.
Stephen, that's my fault.
I know. I found out that someone robbed your office.
That's right, and the list was gone as well as the wrestling tickets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send out new ones as soon as the next card is announced, and I'm going to see to it that everybody has a chance to meet the Grand Wizard personally.
I was there last time, and beautiful Bobby wasn't wearing hot pants. I was disappointed.
Well, was he wearing his see-through bikini pants? You know, they're banned in Boston. He could only wrestle that way in San Francisco.
And I think I have the answer to your question.
Yes.
Is it a man named McClellan?
No, it wasn't.
Well, my friend here...
Well, he shot the first cannon, but we're talking about the first shot.
Oh, well, that's still a shot, isn't it?
No.
Well, my friend here would like to say a few words.
Yeah, if he's able.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
I'd just like to say I think that Blackjack Mulligan's going to really kill Pedro Morales.
Well, I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah, I think he's going to slaughter him, throw him right out of the ring.
Pedro Morales' days of glory are really, the autumn of his career is drawing near.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay, thanks a lot. I want you to talk to my friend.
Ed?
Yes.
It's been really great, and...
Stephen, come on. Cool it, baby.
And I can't say anything else,
Okay.
and I have to say that my brother was coming in. He was in for a party for my brother and his wife are getting married, and he had a big exam the next day.
Stephen, don't go through your whole
In
family
Washington.
history.
But I'd like to say he's coming in next month, June 12th, for the matches, and I'm going to go with him.
Okay, kid.
So it's been great, Eddie. And
Stephen, hurry back to the radio. You'll be able to get the station break.
And let's hope that, that tell me where you are, and, I can't wait to get the tickets.
We are going to take out an ad when we decide, and we're going to take out a big ad in the Sporting News as well as fly a blimp all over the city of Boston.
And
Okay?
one last thing, I know you already heard this, but if you go to your new radio station, Home Sweet Home.
The spirit of 103 WBZ.
The Spirit of New England, WBZ Boston, Group W, Westinghouse Broadcasting.
All right, you're next on the Sports Huddle. Hello?
WBZ.
Yes. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Just don't hang up, okay?
Why should I hang up?
Well, I don't know. Well, listen, I have a poem. Lisa, talk. I am talking.
Don't be a pushy mother.
Was this a stage mother? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, Lisa, would you go ahead and read the poem?
Okay, now listen. Here comes... Hello?
Yes.
Okay, here comes my poem. Now, it's to Eddie. Can I speak to Eddie?
Of course.
Hello, Eddie?
Is this you, Lisa?
You remember me?
Of course I do.
Oh, I was just the native
I've got my
call.
change for you.
What?
I've got your change for you.
What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Now, there once was a guy named Andelman who had a lot of friends. The huddle might end, but he won't lose his friends because Eddie is such a good friend.
Hey, Lisa, no kidding. That was really great.
Can I have a Sports Huddle sweatshirt?
You can have anything I have, baby.
No, can I?
Anything I have you is yours.
No, really. Could I have a
Yes, you can.
Honestly?
Yes. What do you want, an extra large?
No, I have a small.
You are?
Yeah?
Oh, you're not the same Lisa I was thinking about.
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
But can I still have one?
Yes, Network Net will take your name
Wait,
and...
I don't want to talk to Network Ned yet, okay?
Well, okay, Lisa, it's your show.
No, it's not. Now listen, you know Lawnmower, do you think they should have taken him out?
No.
I know, I think that is so mean because now we can't get the win.
That's right.
I think that's very mean. How do you think Siebert did today?
Wonderful.
I know, you know the first game?
Yes.
Wasn't that awful?
Yes.
Oh, I almost died. I'm sitting there watching. Do you know, I was scoring.
Lisa, you know what a Yenti is?
A Yenti?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, well, you're going to be one soon.
Why?
Because you keep talking.
Oh, yeah, I'm loquacious.
Put down by a 3-year-old.
No, really.
How old are you, Lisa?
12.
Really? Hey, you're all right for 12 years old.
You know what? We're going to the first, we have these season tickets to the Patriots, and we're going to the first exhibition game against the New York Giants.
Okay, Lisa.
Are you going?
Yes, I am.
Really?
Yep.
Where do you sit?
Well, we haven't got our tickets yet.
Oh, yeah, I know. My father, wrote to Billy Sullivan.
Yes.
And Billy Sullivan goes, "We'll take very good care of you."
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Lisa, you want to talk to Network Ned now?
Yeah.
He's single.
Oh.
Okay. Ned, take your name and address, and I think Lisa ought to have a sweatshirt.
All right, you're next on the Sports Huddle.
Hello, Mark?
Yes.
Yeah, Mark, I'd like to speak to you about wrestling and football, but first of all, I'd like to make a few suggestions. I'll talk about the Giants last. But first of all, I'd like to ask you for an opinion. What did you think about, how did you feel when you heard Guy Manillo was wrong on his prediction about picking Chicago to win the Cup?
I was so surprised, I can't tell you in words how I was shattered. It's the first time Guy was ever wrong, I'm sure.
Oh no, he's been wrong many times. He picked Ali to win the fight, and he was wrong there. He picked the Dallas Cowboys to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but no one can be perfect, and don't forget, Guy makes up for this with the excitement that he adds to all our lives.
I have to agree with you. Yeah, I'd like to talk about wrestling, and then before I get to the Giants, and the match between Morales and Mulligan, in case you haven't heard, is a Texas death match, and I don't see how in the world Morales can survive in a match like that.
Well, he cannot. That is the plain and simple fact, and you hit the nose right on the head.
Right, and you told me last week that Morales is so weak that he has to have someone help him put on his socks. Well, did you also know that, I heard some kid say that he was at the match at some kid I know in school, and he said that he saw Morales, he was at the garden late, and he saw Morales leaving the garden, and he had to have Gorilla Monsoon and somebody else help him carry his baggage to the airport.
Well, some kid told you that. It must be true.
Yeah, it's obvious. I believe it. Now, I'd like to get to the Giants, and I'd like to say that, to be honest with you, I've been a great Giant hater, and it's always my custom to come over to the station and give you scores, and I have a few I'd like to give you. That memorable year, 1966, and who can forget it, That was one of the greatest years of any sports team ever, when they went 112-1. And one of their losses was against the St. Louis Cardinals. They lost 20-17.
I remember it well. You picked a good score, I'll tell you.
Right, but and then in the game that they lost 72-41, which was probably the most memorable game, which will always stick out in my mind forever. When the Redskins won that game, their first touchdown, they had 6-0. Charlie Gogolak was kicking. His kick was up, and it was blocked. It was blocked by Bob Lurtzimer. He blocked the kick. Lurtzimer diving across, blocked the kick.
In that 72-41 game, all the fans were at Yankee Stadium yelling, "Go defense, go! Go defense, go!"
Yeah, I heard somewhere where that's where their chant of defense originated, because the Giants fans started it, then the Knicks fans picked it up, the Ranger fans did it, and it goes on and on. Defense. Whenever the other team's got the ball or something. And also, I'd like to say honestly that now that I really hate the New York Giants, and I really have a great hate for them, I can honestly say that I used to really like them. I used to root for them a lot, but until I heard you guys and I took your advice, just whenever you feel down or you feel downcast, just think of some game the Giants lost. Believe me, it just gives you an out of this world feeling. Makes you light up all of a sudden,
If there's one thing that makes us feel good after the time spent on the radio, it's knowing that the hate that we've brought to people's lives.
And I still can't understand it. Why there are so many people around who are ignorant, they're nasty, and they're outrageous, and they continue to root for the New York Giants. It just gets me. I can't believe it, because every time I feel downcast, any time I have something worrying that's on my mind, I immediately think of some game that they lost, and I immediately feel much better.
All he needs is to take one person and teach him to hate, and then if he in turn will take another person, it operates as a chain. And we'll get to these people, don't worry.
Well, I hope so, because, you guys are really, I'll tell you, now that you guys are going off the air, Sunday nights are no longer going to be anything to look forward to, and it's just too bad. But at any rate, I hope you guys still stay on somewhere, and as long as I live, I'm going to keep hating the Giants. And also, I'd like to say that I like the way you guys take care of Weston Adams Jr., I can't figure how someone would have the nerve to say that you fellas have no right to criticize any team, because you guys have every right in the world to do it, and there's no way.
Wesley's right. We don't have any right at all because we don't own a sports franchise.
Right, and Jack Craig isn't going to start. You say if you get on another station and you want to put an ad in the paper, well, don't let people like Jack Craig stop you, because I don't think anybody can stop you, because you guys have been just too good. And I'd like to make a couple suggestions. I'd like to hear the commercials of. Can you get the missed extra point commercial? But the one I really want the most is those highlights of New York Giants losses of last year when Mark, you and Eddie, Whitaker, Witkin, and Andelman Gifford were doing the scores against the Giants. I'd like to hear that if you can dish it out.
We don't know if they're available. If they are available, we'll see what we can do.
Right.
Thank you for the nice words.
Can my brother say a word?
Make it short, okay? Because we really have to hurry.
All right, wait a minute.
I guess his word's going to be hypotenuse.
So, Eddie?
Yeah.
Eddie?
Yes.
I really love the Giants, but I also like you. And everything you said about them, even though you say you hate them and they're awful, even though I get sick sometimes, I'm never going to think of their losses, even if it kills me.
Okay.
Bye, Eddie.
So long.
You're great.
I don't know who could like it. I don't know who could like a professional football team that each guy has their own shower stall. Anyway, from the 5th of June through the 12th of June, Channel 2 will conduct its annual auction. This year, as in the past, they need your help. For information, call the auction office at 868-3800. And I believe the Sports Huddle guys are going to be on the Channel 2 auction, and we really got something to give away. And now I want to tell you a word about, for all you golfers or all you people interested in taking up golf, here's a great place for you to investigate if you're a golfer or if you're interested in taking up the game. The Golf House, with stores in Norwell and Saugus, is open to serve the public. They have a full line of professional golf equipment, bags, balls, shoes, gloves, and even a golf repair service on the premises. Before you buy, try out a set of clubs at the Golf House's driving net. It's right on the premises. And you know what else they have at the Golf House? A sequence camera. That's a $1,500 camera that takes 8 photos in a matter of 1 second to show you the weight of your clubs and whether they're correct for you. It's a scientific manner adopted by the great Arnold Palmer. They also have a professional right on the premises for better services. At the Golf House, you'll find great buys on all golf items. And from what I've told you, I think it's obvious the Golf House is a golf specialty house. They don't have any scuba diving equipment, no meat market. All they have is golf, and they're open all year round. And that's the place to go. They have 2 locations, one in Norwell across from Queen Anne's Plaza on Route 53.
Why do you always say across?
And take exit.
I don't know how to say it.
Well, on Route 53, if you take exit 30 off the Southeast Expressway, and in Saugus, they're on Route 1 northbound, corner of Route 129, beside the A&P. In Norwell, ask for Mark or Mike, and Saugus, ask for Dick, and at the A&P, ask for Pierre. That's the Golf House, the professional people for the everyday golfer, open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, Saturday until 6.
You're next on WBZ and the Sports Huddle.
Hello, is this Jim?
Yes, it is.
Hello. I'd like to take a shot at the quiz.
Anything.
Could it be Irwin McDowell?
No. Where did you think of Irwin McDowell?
Well, Irwin McDowell, isn't that Sam
Was he a friend
McDowell's
of yours
real
or
name?
something? No.
No?
No. How could he fire the first shot in the Civil War? Now,
For the North.
Think, kid. Yeah, for the North in the Civil War. 1861.
He was a general who commanded the first battle, I think.
No, you're wrong. No. This was a sports celebrity. Very well-known man.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
The Red Sox, they got their first bad break today. They lost Tatum for 3 weeks.
That's right. Yeah, he's got a broken jaw.
Yeah, so
that's too bad.
Sparky Law's going to be one busy
jaw,
boy.
it's a cheekbone.
Is it?
Right.
Well,
he'll be out 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, that's what they said, 3 weeks. So I'm close so far, Eddie.
Well, I mean,
if you want to come in,
broken jaw.
well, so why don't you talk to him,
Would you like
Eddie?
to find out the difference, pal?
No, but listen, why don't you talk to Eddie, okay? Because he's bound to get in one way or the other.
Well,
so, Eddie, you're on.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Eddie, pronounce across.
Across.
Across. That's like an Englishman. He was saying building. Every time we would buy a big structure, he'd say, look at that building.
And out in Worcester they have...
Drive me cuckoo.
Out in Worcester they have Holy Across.
Eddie,
Yes.
Let me humbly remind you of one of the greatest highlights you've ever had on your show.
Yes.
The night of that famous defeat of the New York Giants, 31-3, Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
The happiest day of my life, other than my...
And mine, believe me. I called up and I rendered a rendition of Taps on the bassoon.
Yes.
Just for you.
I wish you wouldn't mention that word, Taps.
Why?
That was that downfall. Remember the Brewers loss?
Yeah.
The last one?
That was it, huh? Well.
Who knows?
Freedom of speech.
Right. Okay, thanks very much.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, so long.
You're next on WBZ.
Hi, guys.
How you doing, kid?
Well, this is it.
Thanks for reminding us.
We're moving up.
We hope so.
WBZ, the only thing I can say is they better get back to their advertising on those half-gallon hoods. Gotta go up.
No, it's going to cost them a lot more now to lose us. They have to change all their advertising and make it the spirit of 100.
Well, you know, this is a sin. Now, I've heard the Giant haters call up and give some Giant losses, but they ain't super haters like I am. Now, I just come back from the North Pole, and I really hate now. I really hate the blue and red. No question to it. Now, I'm going to give you some beautiful losses. How many do you want? Name your figure.
How about 8?
How about 8? All right, let's go back.
But good ones. Don't give us this
real beauties.
30 to 23. Give us good ones.
All right,
73 to nothing or something.
Some beauties. 1948 in New York, Rams 52, Giants 37.
Beautiful.
1966 in L.A., Rams 55, Giants 14.
That was a beauty. With the extra points up there?
1965, Vikings 40, Giants 14.
Oh, that was nice.
That's a nice one.
It was cold that day, but my heart was warm.
And this is a really surprise. This is the best of them all. 1948, Eagles 45, Giants nothing.
Beautiful.
1966, Pittsburgh Steelers 47, New York Giants 28.
Right.
You satisfied now?
Those were great.
Those are beauties.
We can keep on now.
Right. I knew you'll try to survive through the summer, and I figure that I'll be calling up on a TV station, possibly, it probably will be coast to coast, and I'm going to become a famous personality.
Your name's Joe, right?
No, it isn't.
Mo.
Nope.
Herman.
Larry.
Larry!
The first thing I was going to call up about 3 things. The first thing is I understand now that Don Earl ain't coming back as the announcer for channel 40-2.
That's right. Fred Cusick is coming from radio station 105-2.
Now, it was my understanding that I read in the Globe 2 weeks ago that the Bruin players themselves would decide who will be the TV announcers. And I leave that to the fans themselves. And the second thing is the fabulous ball playing of the New York Yankees. Absolutely fabulous. They are looking like the Yankees that they are, not the Yankees that they have been. The Yankees are on their way down. Them and the Giants are going to compete for the new Roosevelt Stadium in Jersey City. No question, that stadium's up in the air. And one more thing. Let's see. Hold on, guys.
I'd hate the Giants even if they moved to New Jersey. I'd hate them even more.
Oh, sure. Because they'd be pretentious, even more so.
Because the fans would have to pay $50 to get across the bridge.
Right.
I don't think Jersey's going to accept the Giants. They got a lot of class because they did have the Newark Giants. And I understand that they would accept the Westchester Bulls, but not the New York Giants.
You know, I hate to break Guy's heart, but Superfoot is going to kick a field goal to beat the Giants in that exhibition game.
Well, Guy just wants to wait and see.
Want to know that? It's going to break his heart, but Superfoot's going to definitely beat the Giants with a field goal. It would only be fair.
Well, Guy's answer to that question was, I don't know. So neither do I. But, of course, naturally, if you guys, it's only natural if you guys thought up Superfoot, he's going to lead the league in field goals. He's going to be #1 kicker. The Patriots will probably win the title in 3 years. No question.
Did you read the New York Times today?
No, I didn't.
In the sports page on Arthur Daly's column, if you'll excuse our blushing pride, he mentioned Superfoot. In fact, he did the whole column on Superfoot, and it made us feel very good. I mean, not only is this guy, going to be a great kicker, but it's just the idea of seeing this idea take root, having an idea, having it be a little joke to start, and then looking at the possibilities and then bringing it off. I mean, there's some people I don't think that can understand the excitement of just doing something like that and just the excitement of all the possibilities that surround it.
Well, but then again, who's Arthur Daly? He only writes for the New York Times.
Right. The thing with Superfoot that makes it great, and I don't want any... it's a fun thing in that he belongs to the fans. They really were instrumental in doing this whole thing. He's their player, and no one can take the fun away of Superfoot. I know Jack Craig has tried to, and Guy doesn't want to, but the fact is, it's a fun thing.
But these people are talking about it.
Boston, WBZ. Boston, WBZ.
Jimmy.
Well, how can they really take anything away from it?
Well, no one really can. I mean, it's because it belongs to the fans, as Eddie said. I don't think BOAC, for example, unless they thought that the fans would really become interested in this, would have gone forward with the idea because, basically they wanted to do something that the fans could get excited about.
Can I say one thing? And
sure.
I want to congratulate Mark as well as Eddie for snowing Jim about the New York Giants, because I remember it was Jim who questioned the sanity of Eddie about his hate for New York.
That's right. I couldn't believe anybody could hate that much.
Right. And
then you know what happened to me.
That's right. It's just like
I tried it for 2 games.
It's just like a serum. It's a truth serum. You begin to understand, and all I can say is if you become a really dedicated New York Giant hater, your wife is going to have to put a screen in front of the TV set, no question, and she's going to have to throw any throwable objects out of the parlor, because you'll have to understand that the Giants do play a marshmallow schedule and they will score touchdowns. But this is the last time I'll call on WBZ. I'd like to thank WBZ for, at least giving me the opportunity to even talk to you guys. And no matter where you go, I'll always call again. You guys are really great.
Well, you've added a lot to our show, and thanks a lot.
Okay.
Speaking of the newspapers, I made a big goof last week, as I guess we all did. We got back from London, and we hadn't slept for possibly 2 days, and we were tired, and I glanced through the sport page, and we were talking about some of the Boston press not paying attention to Superfoot. The next day, I felt about 2 inches tall when I saw a terrific story in there by the Herald Traveller. Actually had a London correspondent, and it was daylighted in London that covered Superfoot. There was also a story in there on Thursday. So my apologies, first of all, to Herald Sports editor. It happens to be one of the writers in Boston I've admired since he's been with the Boston Post, and a person who has added a lot of dignity to sports. That's Cliff Sundberg, and also to the Herald Traveller Corporation, because we were wrong in what we said, and they have been more than fair to Superfoot. So my apologies to all of you. Anyway, next on WBZ.
Eddie?
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering, did you see the Boston Globe picture of Superfoot?
Yes, I did. It not only there, but it was in 300 papers across the country.
Yeah, it was in the Lawrence Eagle Tribune, and they had the
Lawrence Eagle Tribune?
Yeah.
Well, make it 301.
Yeah, it had and in the Globe it had Mark cut off, but in the Eagle it had the whole picture of Mark.
Right. Is that right? He was there booking action.
Yeah. Oh, I think I know the answer to your quiz.
Go ahead.
Is it Abner Doubleday?
Yes, it is.
It is?
Abner Doubleday fired the first shot for the North.
Oh, gee, I'm absolutely thrilled.
Do you know what Abner Doubleday was famous for?
He made the first soggy hot dog?
No.
What?
He was a partner on an old radio show, Lemon Abner.
Oh, of course. Hey, you know what I think you guys ought to do?
What?
Sing the 11:30 station break.
Well, we'll do when we get to 11:30. We probably will.
Yeah, and you'll say over this the mutual broadcasting system.
Okay, you remember the old days, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we've been at the bottom of the dial, the middle of the dial. Let's see what's next. Okay.
With your weight, you'll be right on the end.
Right. Could be. Hang on, Network Ned Foster. We'll take your name and congratulations.
One more thing.
Yes.
I think you're fair weather fans. You've given up on Killer Kowalski and gone to the side of the immortal Dusty Fellbomber.
Killer Kowalski is coming back. He's been in Australia.
Oh, he deserves a swell hand of applause from everybody all over the world.
Well, I think sports lovers all over the land remember the great Killer and his claw hold.
Yes.
Okay. Congratulations. And right now we have a word from a sponsor. We'll be right back.
The Boston
newest and most unique floating restaurant, The Raft, where you leisurely drift across Boston Harbor towards colorful East Boston. Fish along the way for your supper, or grab hold of an oar if you want to build a hearty appetite. The Raft leaves Boston twice daily at high tide and has limited seating capacity, except in the event of foul weather. Seafood never tastes as good as fresh from the ocean and into the frying pan. Generous servings of French fries and dinner salad are provided free of charge for the lucky anglers. And for those who fail to catch their supper, fresh frozen seafood is provided at fair prices to those who wish to eat. Remember, for your safety, a Coast Guard helicopter fully trained in air-sea rescue closely follows the raft. Reservations are a must, so be sure and call the raft and tell the captain that you heard about the raft on the Sports Huddle. Think of the raft when you think of fresh New England seafood.
And we do want to tell everybody waiting out there that we're going to come out during the break and say hello to you, and anybody that cares to say goodbye, because certainly you people are the Sports Huddle. The Sports Huddle is the fans of New England, and the way I look at it. And I do want to take a second to say something to the fans from outside of the city of Boston. And we receive these letters, and I think it's a wonderful thing that sports fans can identify. Our show basically is about New England sports and Boston sports for the most part, and yet there's a great interest in our program and in Boston sports. And the people from out of state have really been great and extremely thoughtful. And we're most appreciative. That's why we're going to take time to answer. And we will tell you that when we just make up our minds after our vacations, that some offers that have come our way, and I think some of them will reach you people out there. We're going to take an ad in the Sporting News and let you know.
But we do want to say once again, all of us, that the Sports Huddle is not just us three here, but it's, all of us, the listeners and us, because it's a two-way street. Your calls, our comments, and reverse, and just the idea that I think we all are on the same wavelength with what we think about sports and the importance of it and the non-importance of it too.
Besides, who ever heard of a big-time sportscaster waiting in line for tickets?
Right. And it's just the fun we've had. And a lot of people will try to merchandise you, and a lot of people will try to package you like soap or package their teams like soap, and they'll try to tell you it's so serious, and they won't let on that there's any fun to it. But don't let them buffalo you. It is fun, and the more fun you have, the better it is really for all concerned, whether they know it or not.
I just might also add one other thing, that no matter where we go, if we go, and if we see all you people nationally or otherwise, we're still going to be buying our tickets. We still will not be in the press box. We'll still have our own way of doing things, the same way as yours. So we'll all be together. I don't think we're leaving as of right now.
And I want to tell all the listeners about one of our very favorite sponsors, because it has to do with sports, and that's Twin Enterprises' very famous souvenir shop. And, of course, the Red Sox have opened up with their brand-new look this year, and, boy, that's in first place. And the souvenir shop at 19 Jersey Street has a wide variety of Red Sox souvenirs. They have from pennants to bumper stickers, and you'll find every single thing you want at the souvenir shop. In addition, they have a great lineup of Bruins, Celtics, Patriots, and every single team in the American League, the National League, all the pro football teams, all the hockey teams, and all the basketball teams. The next time you go to Fenway Park, you can stop in before or after the game at the souvenir shop. They have brand new full-color posters of the new Red Sox, namely Louis Aparicio, and, of course, the new look Yaz this year. The souvenir shop is open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. every single day, and after every Red Sox game, they're open for over an hour or as long as the customers stay. That's the souvenir shop, 19 Jersey Street, Boston, opposite Fenway Park. And for you out-of-state listeners, they have a beautiful color brochure listing all the souvenirs, and if you drop them a note at 19 Jersey Street, Boston, souvenir shop, they will be very happy to send the catalog out to you at no cost. So remember, the souvenir shop, the best variety and the best prices for any sporting souvenir.
You're next on WBZ and the Sports Huddle.
Hello.
How you doing, Jim?
Fine, how are you?
Not too bad. It's Mark there, please.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, Mark, this is Commissioner. How are you?
Just fine. How are
You
you?
didn't show up yesterday. We didn't look too good.
You played?
Yeah, oh yeah, we played.
You know, what time did I talk to you in the morning?
About 11 o'clock.
Right, I didn't think there was a chance. You didn't think at that time there was a chance.
I didn't think so either, but it cleared up and we're devoted. We went out there anyway.
Well, I'm glad that you played, but I'm sorry I missed it.
Well, listen, there's always next week and weeks after, so
Right.
we'll be looking for you.
Okay.
Listen, I have a poem I have composed here for you guys, especially for tonight. And 20 years from now, I suspect it's going to be in every single school child's poetry anthology. You've heard of Ode on a Greasy Urn by Byron, that famous poem? Well, this is Ode on a Sports Huddle sweatshirt. And here it is. Ode on a Sports Huddle sweatshirt. Eddie, Mark, and Jim, with you around, our sunny nights weren't dim.
Boston, WBZ.
Your views were always on the candid side, even though after some you almost had to go and hide. Though some call Eddie a jerk because he put the rap on the Turk. Though some call Mark a bum because he said Nancy and Garrett were a couple of crumbs. Though some say Jim is full of madness because he knocked His Royal Highness. We still feel you're the fan's voice, even though this is the end, not by your choice. So keep it up, even though it may hurt, because one day, Cy Yanoff will have to eat a WBZ Sports Huddle sweatshirt. And that's dedicated to you guys for tonight. And one last thing.
Here, before you go, one last thing. Can I tell you something?
Sure.
And I mean this sincerely. The only thing that we feel bad about is we're going to miss the fans, and especially the fans from out of state who possibly, might not be able to hear us or get us as clear a signal. But we made an awful lot of good friends over here, and I mean that. There's one like at the control booth right now, Lee Holbrook, who we not only changed his life. Do you know what we did for that man?
What?
We found him a wife, and now he's got a beautiful baby. And Network Ned Foster, who's been with us from the very beginning, and how about Streeter Stewart, who we're going to talk to a little later, and a guy like Maurice Lewis or Bruce Schwegel, who came in here with just nice guys. Jim Lightfoot, a guy who, Pat Shanahan. There's been an awful lot of people who've done an awful lot for us, and we've made some lifelong friends, and especially some of the callers. You're going to be hearing from one of them pretty soon, the great Tony C.
Well,
and what about Eddie Costello?
The great Eddie Costello.
Right. Listen, hang on till after the news, will you? We got to go right now because the late, great Streeter Stewart is ready. And right now, this hour was brought to you by
the Souvenir Shop, 19 Jersey Street in Boston, where you can send for their souvenir catalog. The Natick Mall opens 6 nights a week with climate-controlled shopping comfort on the Natick-Framingham line. The Golf House in Norwell and Saugus, the professional golf people for the everyday golfer. And Yokin's, the sporting man's restaurant to treat his family to a great meal.
Okay, more Sports Huddle right after the news.
The Spirit of New England, WBZ Boston, Group W, Westinghouse Broadcasting. It's 60 degrees in Boston. Tonight's low will be in the 30s. I'm Streeter Stewart reporting the 9 o'clock WBZ News. The Soviet Union supersonic airliner flew from Moscow to Prague, Czechoslovakia today on the first international trip of the SST. A crowd of 1,500 waved and cheered when the big plane landed. It will remain in Prague for 2 days and then fly on to Paris for the big international air show. The Soviet Union expects to put the Tu-144 into service yet this year, the first in the world. A Russian-built Yugoslav Aviogen Airways plane carrying British tourists crashed while landing at a Yugoslav port today, killing 75 persons. It was the worst air disaster in Yugoslav history. 1 passenger and 4 crewmen reportedly survived. A river of lava flowing down the side of Mount Etna toward 9 Sicilian villages has still not done any damage, and it appears to be diminishing somewhat, but scientists say it's too early to pronounce the danger past. The mayors of 9 villages conferred again today on an emergency plan to evacuate, feed, and house those who may be affected if the lava reaches any of the villages. A detective was shot in the leg and a police car was blown up tonight in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Both incidents happened near the police station in the Mount Cottinger section. Earlier today, Roman Catholics called for United Nations observers to be sent to Northern Ireland. They accused British troops of brutality. The jury in the Bobby Seale Erica Huggins trial in New Haven recessed again this evening with a request to hear more testimony read back. About 20 youths stood across the street from the courthouse carrying banners reading "Free Bobby and Erica" and chanting "Jail Nixon, Jail Spiro, Bobby Seale is the people's hero." The Boston Globe reported today that a poll conducted in New Hampshire indicates that Senator Edmund Muskie leads President Nixon 49-41. Muskie also topped Mayor John Lindsay of New York 56-21. 1,986 persons were polled by the Becker Research Corporation for those results. WBZ News Time, 4 minutes after 9.
Without that yearly cancer checkup, time could be running out, and you wouldn't even know it. Where cancer is involved, time is your best friend. WBZ reminds you to fight cancer with a checkup and a check to your American Cancer Society volunteer.
In baseball, in the American League, Baltimore beat Boston 12-3 in the first game. Boston beat Baltimore 2-1 in the second. New York 6, Cleveland 3. Second game, Cleveland 2, New York 1. Detroit 5, Washington nothing. Second game, Detroit 11, Washington nothing. Milwaukee 4, Kansas City nothing. Oakland 3, Minnesota 1. California 10, Chicago 5. In the National League, New York 4, Atlanta nothing. Cincinnati 4, Philadelphia 3. Los Angeles 4, Chicago 3, Montreal 4, Pittsburgh 2, St. Louis 6, San Diego 1, San Francisco 7, Houston 4. The weather word for Boston and vicinity: the United States Weather Bureau and the Cranberry Experiment Station forecast a very dangerous frost on the bogs tonight. The probable temperature 22 to 23 degrees. Tomorrow night about as cold. And for the Boston area, tonight clear and cool, low temperatures in the 40s on the coast, the 30s inland with a chance of frost in the lowlands, gentle northwest winds. Tomorrow mostly sunny, high temperatures in the 60s, northerly winds 10 miles an hour, possibly becoming onshore in the afternoon. The present temperature 60 degrees, relative humidity 21, the wind northwest at 14 miles an hour, the barometric pressure 29.92 inches and steady. The top story of the hour: the Soviet Union has flown its new supersonic transport plane to Yugoslavia on its way to the Paris International Air Show. And that's the 9 o'clock WBZ report with portions recorded. I'm Streeter Stewart, WBZ News.
It's Sunday evening, and this is BZ Sports Huddle.
And welcome back to the Sports Huddle. We're on until midnight tonight here on WBZ, the Spirit of 100. My name is Eddie Andelman, along with Jim McCarthy and Mark Witkin. Bruce Schwegler, would you come in here for a moment, please? We want to certainly say our goodbyes to a guy that's really been a lot of fun and a good friend we hope we've made at WBZ, even though we haven't always agreed with his weather predictions. Right now, who is bringing us this hour of the Sports Huddle this year?
Well, this hour of the Sports Huddle is brought to you by Bruce Schwegler, who's coming in the door right now. The Standard Electric Company, 267 Lexington Street in Waltham. Darling's Delicious, Darling meat products at fine food stores everywhere, and the Golf House in Norwell and Saugus, the professional golf people for the everyday golfer.
Bruce, I don't know what we're going to do without you. In other words, we're leaving, not you, so don't worry. But I do want to thank you for all you've added to the show. And we do want to personally autograph our pink slips and leave them with you as a memento.
You guys got a clientele here?
Far from it.
What's going on? I see you have a few fans outside the studio.
You know, they asked for you, too, so when you leave, we should just go out and say hello. Really. I mean it.
What do they like you for, Bruce? I mean, the weather. I mean, you've never brought us good weather, basically.
It's been my aftershave, huh?
Bruce, let me do one thing, though, I really would like to do. And that is, I want you right now, here and now, and I'm going to mark it down, Bruce, to predict the weather for the opening Patriots game in August at the new stadium.
Oh, I thought they were going to play at the Astrodome. There'd be no sweat. But, yeah, well, I'll give them a sunny day. Crystal ball's coming through here. Sunny, 75 degrees, huh?
Okay, mark that down, Lee. Sunny and 75 degrees. And we'll see how. But Bruce, really, thanks very much. It was, I know you didn't get paid for it, but he used to come in and give us the weather. And I know, especially when we were on Saturday nights, and some of those fans who played those little cards for fun and amusement paid very careful attention to some of your prognostications. And I can remember one snowstorm in the Midwest that everybody made a score on. And we certainly thank you for that, Bruce.
Hey, listen, you guys, I'll drop back a little later. I mean, it's just the beginning of your show. How long have you been on now?
Just 117 shows.
You'll be on until midnight, though,
Yes,
right?
we will, Bruce. Take a look at the weather and come
I'll
back.
check you out later, huh?
And some of those people want to say hello to you, so go ahead and do it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Right now, you're next on WBZ and the Sports Huddle.
Yeah, Eddie.
Yes.
Yeah, while I was going over the news, I got this wire, this notice over the UPS wire. It says here that 3 guys by the names of Andelman, Witkin, and McCarthy, which are going to take over for me and Gorilla during the week, and it's going to be called Calling All Comrades. Any truth to that?
No, it isn't.
No truth to that. How about, you think you guys can have...
That reminds me of one of the best jokes we ever had on the Sports Huddle. Do you remember when we played Calling All Comrades?
Yeah.
And somebody called up and said that a hotel chain wanted to sponsor our, what's the matter? The smelts are back. Somebody wanted to sponsor the Sports Huddle, a hotel chain. They said it was the Comrade Hilton.
I remember that. Yeah. Any chance of you having Calling All Fans tonight? Since I know you haven't done that in a long, long time. I really enjoy that. I think the fans would too, listening to your last show.
Well, I don't think we'll play it tonight, but I can assure you that you'll hear it again.
What was I going to... yeah. Yeah, one thing I really enjoyed you guys did last year, I don't know if you have it on tape or anything, that was a play-by-play of the fireworks, the Foxborough Stadium last year. Remember that?
Well, how do you think we felt being located inside of a trailer and suddenly announcing that there's going to be 15 minutes of fireworks, and we couldn't hear ourselves think? And I remember doing the play-by-play. It was an awful lot of fun.
It was a good play.
I was mad they didn't give me a color man.
No, well, you know, maybe you could have had Frank Gifford or somebody like that.
Right.
Finding an announcer. Well, one last thing. I want to tell all the fans out there to save their sweatshirts because the Sports Huddle will rise again.
Right.
I want to wish you guys the best luck in whatever you do, and we're going to miss you on Sunday nights.
Thank you.
Take care and good luck.
Right.
Bye-bye.
But they're all going to learn that they can't beat the fans.
That's true, and the fans can't be fooled either because, as we said, we went out in the parking lot to say hello to some fans, and we distributed some smelts, and they threw them back.
They just landed back here at my feet.
Right, but it was a lot of fun.
1,400 smelts.
And we're going to say hello to some more people, too, as soon as we can get a break. All right, you're next on the Sports Huddle.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello, who is this?
This is Mark.
Mark, I'd like to, this is a long-time listener and a first-time caller. I'd like to compliment all 3 of you gentlemen
Thank you.
on our fantastic show.
Right.
And I think that the 3 of you people bring a side of reporting of sports to the fans of Boston. I mean, the real fans of Boston that has never been reported, that can't be reported in newspapers and so on and so forth.
Well, I think some of the stuff could be reported in newspapers if the newspapers would take a little different tact and have a little different view of the people who buy the papers. But, you know, that's something that we've said all along, and, you know, I think the battle has been won in part, but so what the heck.
Okay, that's just about all I had to say. It's been, you know, I've been, you know, like I said, a long-time listener, and if you guys are on another radio station, I hope there's some way or somehow you can get in touch with all the fans so that they can listen to you, because it's just been really, really a fantastic show, and I've listened to you people. I've only listened to you for about 6 months now, and I'm sorry I haven't listened before, you know, but, you know, I just caught you know, a broadcast on BZ one Sunday night by mistake, and since that time, I tell you, I've been laughing, and I've been, you know, I'm really a confirmed Giant hater, and to sort of sign off, could you give me a Giant score that's, you know, one of the 71s, please?
One of the 71 scores, did he say?
No, one of the 70, you know, a score, like, you know, that somebody beat the Giants by 70
Oh,
or
well,
better.
my favorite, I think, was the big upset when the Eagles won 23-20 over the Giants.
And don't forget when the Steelers beat the Giants and Lynn Chadnoys ran back the opening kickoff for a touchdown, it was 63-7, and I think that's pretty close.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Bye now.
Okay. Thank you for calling, and if we do, you know, do things differently, everyone will know. We'll make sure everybody knows.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Well, before Jim gets the next call, I want to tell you all about the Standard Electric Supply Company at 267 Lexington Street, Waltham. And don't forget their phone number. It's 893-1050. And I think anybody who's looking for anything for the home, I don't care if it's a safety device, if it's clocks, regardless, patio, outdoor lighting, Standard Electric Supply are large wholesalers, but they have a tremendous retail outlet right on Lexington Street with some awfully fine people that'll be there to serve you and answer all your questions. And Standard Electric Supply also has an exclusive on a brand new barbecue that can be used for apartments, which is very unusual, or for homes. It has the charcoal, it does not burn, it does not smoke, and it's permanent, and there are no ashes. It's exclusive with Standard Electric Supply Company, and believe me, the summer is coming, and there's nothing like an outdoor barbecue. And there's nothing like dealing with the people of Standard Electric Supply Company. The owner, A. Brand, and his son, who also helps manage the business, Steve Brand, have been personal friends of mine for a number of years. And I can only tell you that they're a pleasure to do business with. They're very honest and reputable people. They've been in business for over 20 years. And at Standard Electric Supply Company, you get your money's worth, and you get to deal with people who are, well, I can really consider them friends of mine and friends of the guys from the Sports Huddle. We're proud to have been associated with them. We're proud to have the Sports Huddle's name associated with them. Standard Electric Supply Company, don't forget it, 267 Lexington Street, Waltham. Okay, James?
You're next on WBZ and the Sports Huddle.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, how are you?
Calling from the home of the Situate Sea Monster.
Hey, there you go. Nice country down there, isn't it?
Yeah. So, over the past few months, you guys have been taking some pot shots at the Bruins, and in particular Weston Adams, and I'd like to talk to you about it for a minute if I could.
You're not going to be serious, are you?
I'd like to be for a minute, and then maybe we can have some fun.
Okay.
Because, you blame Weston for a lot of the things, for league expansion, to his sporting goods store, and to his penurious nature with contract negotiations and what have you.
Can I just answer that before you go any further?
Yep.
We haven't blamed Weston Jr. for anything except talking too much. Whenever we pull Weston's chain, to use a Manila term, Weston has answered us in force, and we think it's kind of ridiculous when you're on top as they were, and they won all those. They topped the league, and everybody broke a record on the team, including big, tough, bad Kenny Hodge, and they all did a fantastic job. But every time somebody said anything, Weston defended himself. And I relate somebody when they're on top of the heap. I just relate them sort of to the president. People take a slap at him, but if he answered every nitwit that, called him a name or anything, then it would be ridiculous. And Weston, we were kind of playing with him, and Weston took it seriously. And as far as we're concerned, if he's that, and he admitted it, by the way, publicly in a whole article by Stan Fischler, that he was a little thin-skinned. Well, I can't see how a 27-year-old who's inheriting his father's business can afford to be thin-skinned. I would think he'd just shut up and take life as it is. And as I said to Weston one day, listen to me, poor little think like me saying to Weston, 27 years old, as I said, Weston, what goes up has to come down. And Eddie predicted, by the way, now that you got me wound up and you haven't even finished, I know your statement, but Eddie predicted in the TV Guide article, which they did cut out because they thought it would have been a little facetious, I think, but Eddie predicted in the TV Guide article, which was written about April 2nd, that the Bruins would be beaten by the Canadians. And TV Guide got a big chuckle out of it and didn't put it in their article when it was printed. And they later spoke to Eddie about it and said we didn't put it in because we thought it would have been hindsight on our part, because at that time it was a big letdown. But, I think they're dreaming, and I think they're very thin-skinned, and we felt their wrath, but to us it's a laugh, because we can walk out of here and tomorrow morning I can go out and make a buck, as Mark and professionally can, and as can Eddie, and laugh at all the way to the bank, really.
Well, this is true, but I'm not talking about the playing ability of the members of the team. I'm talking more from a management of a business and from a sporting team standpoint. Now, this guy has got a responsibility to the stockholders, to the fans, and to a great many people, and he does his darndest to live up to this responsibility. and you say a great many things about him. You sit back there and you take pot shots at him. Now, the guy is human. Sooner or later, the hair on the back of his head is going to stand up, and he's going to want a piece of your hide, the same as you've been taking from him.
Listen, we accept it that way. That's life. We have never discounted the fact that we are vulnerable and leave ourselves wide open. As a matter of fact, the only thing we have going for us is the fact that we do leave ourselves wide open, and I don't know anybody else, or at least I haven't heard anybody else in Boston that would really leave themselves wide open, unless they were shilling for the
there
firm.
aren't too many people that have the opportunity, Jim.
Well, you get people on the radio, and you get every sports writer in the city.
This is true, but they don't have the opportunity for immediate retaliation as you provide on the telephone. But look, most of the things that you folks have said in the last couple of years are expressions of opinion.
That's all.
You can't argue opinion because everyone's entitled to his opinion.
No question.
But I would just like to point out the hypocrisy of many of the things that you said. Now, in one breath, you come out and accuse him of being the lowest payer, and he's not paying Bobby Orr what he's worth.
Well, I didn't say that, but that's neither here nor there.
You as a group. When I say you, I don't mean Jim McCarthy and Mark or anything. I mean you guys as a group. You come out and you put the rap on this man because you claim he doesn't pay the players what they're worth.
Well, we said in general, hockey players have been subdued as far as money is concerned, and because you're an adult.
Everyone has been subdued until the television tube put sports before the American public.
Right, okay.
Face it. But on one hand, you say that he doesn't pay the players what they're worth. Now, on the other hand, you come back and accuse him of being gouging in his pricing of the tickets, the concessions, the beer, the popcorn, and everything. Now, you don't have to be Phi Beta Cap from Harvard Business School to know that these fantastic salaries that are going to be paid these players has got to come from the gate receipts as well as the other fringe income from it. There's only one person that's going to pay for Bobby Orr's fabulous salary, or Phil Esposito's fantastic income, and that's Phineas Fan, whether he buys the ticket, whether he buys the beer, or whether he pays for closed-circuit TV, which we might see in the next couple of years.
Absolutely correct. But just let me just answer you as I go along because, I'm not that sharp and I can't think that far back as many people can. Who said they're paying them such fantastic salaries? That was a Weston Adams Jr. statement that said the average salary is $36,000. And you know as well as I do, I'm sure being an intelligent man, that anybody can play with figures.
This is true. You can take statistics and make them say anything you want. So sometimes you folks use them in your favor. But I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy of your accusing him of being a tightwad in one voice and then knocking him because he has to raise money to pay these salaries.
Can I say one thing, please?
Sure.
When all this transpired, it was last year when they bumped ticket prices up $1.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, as a mathematical multiplication shows that by raising ticket prices $1, that they increased the gross over $500,000. That was on top of getting $1 million as their share from expansion, and also having another $300,000 from Channel 38. At that time, Orr was working on the third year of a contract, as was Esposito, as was most of the players. So if you just go back over the salaries, you'll see that they got all sorts of money, and there wasn't a need last year to increase the ticket prices $1. Now Bobby Orr this year, and now Esposito is going to go after the big dough and get it. I hope they're going to get it. Now they're going to increase tickets another $1. Don't you see, the thing that's wrong with this whole mess is the fact that the prices has gotten out of hand so that the average father can't take a son to a game. You can't afford it. If you have 2-3 children, you're dead. That's the trouble. So sports has got to fend for themselves. Football has gone out and they've made better TV contracts. Hockey has not made the TV contracts that's necessary because that Board of Governors doesn't allow CBS to operate and give them the primetime games or run their schedule around television. So if you think that the hockey people in Boston have done a thing for the fans, you're wrong.
Well, I think they have, because I've been watching hockey in Boston for 30 years, and I can remember being in the balcony and in the garden when there weren't that many fans around. But the responsibility of the owners of the team is, number one, to make a profit for the corporation, which they represent, and number two is to put
all baloney a profit to the corporation. Who cares about the corporation? They own most of it anyway.
The stockholders.
They own most of it. What are you kidding?
The profit making in WBZ, or the hustling of the sports shirts, or the trip to California.
Hey, wait a minute. Now you're off in the wrong. The sports shirts.
Talk about that.
The Sports Huddle sweatshirts mean nothing to us. There's not been one penny, not one penny, have we seen from the sports shirts that's a giveaway, and we picked up 50% of the cost of the sports shirts that we took on the trip that we gave everybody in the West Coast. That's A. Now, before you go off and get smart, because, I'll buy anything you say and take all the criticism you want until you say something you know nothing about. B, the trip to the West Coast cost me personally, I would say out of my own pocket, $400. Now, that's the truth. You can check with Crimson. Wait a minute, pal. Wait a minute.
And add Superfoot that we're behind like over $4,000 on now.
Now, this is money out of our own pocket. We haven't made a penny. We haven't pushed anything.
We didn't. Not only we didn't make a penny, we didn't receive a penny because it wasn't part of any deal where we supposedly got any money.
And that can be checked with Crimson Travel or anybody else.
And one more second. A couple of writers that write TV columns and radio columns accused us of that too. And when I later spoke to them, they apologized. They wanted to print a retraction, but I didn't feel it was necessary because I don't feel, for the most part, nobody believes that read that column really? Anyway. That we have never. Wait a minute. We have never in any way ever used the Sports Huddle to make 5 cents.
No, the analogy I make is that you exploit a popular thing, the Sports Huddle, for the benefit of some people. Fine. Now,
wait a minute. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Can you back up what you're talking about?
I say you exploit the popularity of the Sports Huddle.
Listen, you called in. Wait a minute. You called in here on the private line, and I know your name because you gave it to the producer.
That's right,
now you want to tell everybody your name, and let's get everything out in the open. Because if you're going to accuse us of making money on these things,
I didn't say that.
What the heck is part of the word exploit?
What are you, shilling for Weston Adams Jr. now? What are we coming to this?
How'd you get the number to this station?
You're a houseman, right?
What?
How'd you get thinks like you we don't need, really. If you're a houseman, we don't need you.
How'd you get the number to this station to call on the private line?
Well, if you want to talk to me off the air afterwards.
No, tell us now.
Give your name.
Friendship.
What's your name? You know our names. What's yours?
My name is Lambert.
Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
Mr. Lambert?
Yeah.
And you have the private number here to WBZ?
Yes, sir.
And who gave it to you?
Well, I'd rather not trespass on friendship.
No, well, you're a house tout then, right?
No,
look, whether he...
Hey, we don't need him, really. There are thousands of people, or 100 or 2 people that want to get on the line. Let's not listen to a house man.
Okay.
Right, but we can...
You're a house shill, pal. We don't need you.
It's just a fan who is...
You're a fan with the private number to the station that nobody has. Please. Please.
Okay? Have you spoken your piece or you want more time?
Well, I'm happy. Good luck to you.
Thank you, too.
And I'd like to say just one thing more. There was sort of implicit in the whole conversation, but I didn't want to interrupt him because I thought, and I didn't know he called on the private number, but everybody has a right to...
I didn't need it to be true.
No, everybody has a right to get...
Ned told me, and that's why, I felt he was a friend of somebody, and
let me just say this. He had his say, and I didn't want to interrupt him. But there was nothing personal, really, when we talked about the Bruins and we mentioned Weston Adams Jr. We do this because he supposedly is the president of the club. Now, I don't know what the president of the club does, because apparently it's only a part-time job, because he has other little jobs around there too. He has his own, or I assume it's his own hockey shop. So I don't know if president is an important job because he has other things, but he's, I guess, the spokesman, and it would have been him I would have expected to thank the fans when the president recognized the Bruins, but that's a different subject entirely. But because he is the spokesman and we don't want to talk corporate and computer language, then we talk about him because he apparently has something to say being the president. And that's really, we have nothing personally against Weston Adams Jr. It's just, that's his position. And when he takes a position, he has a certain responsibility with it.
And I just really don't think, Mark, I didn't know who this individual was, this Mr. Lambert, because there's a lot of Mr. Lamberts around. But the fact is that how a person would get the private number, there's only one way an individual would get the private number to this station, and that is by somebody in power, whoever it may be, giving them the number.
I just found out who it was because they just told me in the engineering booth that they got it, according to the booth, they got it from Bill Shoup, the program manager.
Well, they got it because they were trying to call the show to shill for somebody. We've never shilled for anybody. The show is not a shill show. We haven't made any money.
It's a swell show.
It's a swell show. It's not a shill show, right?
It's a swell show.
We're not leaving the station because of any money problems, and this has been blown way out of proportion. We say how we feel personally. We have a media to do it with, and we'll go off gracefully. But really, I don't think that if there are any other house shills out there, please don't call us. Call Manila, get the private number, or call Stockton next week, and do it on your own. But don't please take the time of a lot of people out there who do want to call us and have something to discuss.
Roy, this is our last show, and we'd like it to be a happy show, because basically the program is conceived as a happy program to have fun, and we don't want any bitterness, we don't want any malarkey. We just want to have fun tonight. That's the way we want to end it.
Okay, and speaking of fun, we have with us, I think, a guy that's very famous on the Sports Huddle, and of course all you fans out there in New England and all across the country know and have loved, as we have, the great Tony C. Tony Ciccarella. Tony, welcome back to the Sports Huddle microphones.
It's such a tremendous thrill to be here on such an auspicious occasion. I just feel so wonderful being with you.
Yeah, Tony, I'll never forget the night when he first appeared on WBZ, and the real Tony C called, demanding to know who this Tony C was, and Tony C really got offended because he felt, being Tony Ciccarella, of course, he was the great Tony C, but...
And he is the great Tony C.
Tony, how are you making out in the West Coast?
Well, of course, Raquel Welch is so envious of my body. And, of course, in many ways, there are things just like in Boston, like, for instance, Fantasyland and Disneyland is so much like Fenway Park. And I like California very much.
Okay, and Tony C., I got a couple of questions for you. First of all, we understand that you're getting ready to embark on a show business career, and you do a few imitations.
Yes, I do.
Would you start off? I understand the first one here, which we call number one, is President Nixon delivering a clubhouse address to the Red Sox between games of a doubleheader.
Well, this is how President Nixon would do it. Let's get one thing perfectly clear. I am the manager. Will someone please take the fungal bat away from Spiro before he kills somebody? Now, it'd be easy to blame last year's defeat on Eddie Casca, but that's the low road, and I'm not going to do it. I'm going to blame it on Hubert Humphrey. Now, what the Red Sox need is a driving, lifting dream, and about 25 good players. Now, some people say that I won't get along with the Red Sox, but we both have one thing in common. We both want a generation of pennants. And I promise you a generation of pennants for the Baltimore Orioles.
Hey, that's very good, Tony C. Now we got coming up the station break here at 9:30 on WBZ, and stay tuned, because here it is.
The spirit of 103 WBZ.
The Spirit of New England, WBZ Boston, Group W, Westinghouse Broadcasting.
And welcome back to the Sports Huddle. My name is Eddie Andelman, along with Mark Witkin, Jim McCarthy, and, of course, the great Tony C. What else can you do, Tony C?
Well, I can do a spectacular imitation of Don Adams.
Okay.
Who was on Get Smart.
Yeah.
And this is him talking to the Red Sox. Men, let's win it for the Gipper, whoever he is. Now let's win this pennant for our team spirit, for our 400 vice presidents, and because we have money, bet with the bookies. Coming over here on the plane, we almost had a terrible accident. A giant flame went up, and we all ran to our baseball priest, who before he was a priest was a fireman. So I want to say to Sparky Lyle, a big hello, all 800 pounds of you. Sparky over here, Sparky over there. How many times have I told you, Kaya-Stremski, not to hold hands with Joe Cronin when you're on first base? And that, of course, is Don Adams. But, you know, I think that the Red Sox have really lacked has been an intellectual person. And to me, the apotheosis of intellectualism is William Buckley. And I think this is how Mr. Buckley...
This is going to be Bill Buckley.
Bill Buckley Jr. I think one of the problems has been that we have played what I would call a kind of liberal baseball, whereby the war has distracted us to the point that rather than concentrating on bunting or hit and run, we have gone for home runs. And when I become the manager of this team, we're going to concentrate on base hits.
Very good, Tony. Excellent.
Excellent, Tony.
You'd have to see Tony's eyes to appreciate that one, I think, Mark.
And I think on our first TV special, wherever and whenever or whatever, people will see Tony. Thank you very much, Tony. It's really been a gas.
Well, you know, the first time I heard the show on the other station, I was just amazed. I never heard anything so exciting and so different. And to be a part of the show was always like a dream. And I've enjoyed it so much.
Why don't you take a call?
Okay. You're on WBZ.
Will you give Tony a call, Lee? Yeah, he says you're ready.
Well, I'll talk. Is there somebody there?
Hello?
Hello?
The answer to the question's Abner Doubleday, right?
No,
Where
it
have you
isn't.
been, kid?
It's
What?
Ulysses
Where have
Grant.
you been?
Well, I've been trying to hang on.
Yeah, will you?
I know what he did, though.
What did he did?
He invented baseball.
Attaboy.
Do I get a sweatshirt?
No.
Why not?
Because you're the second guesser. We've already got the question.
Yeah, but I told you what he did. The other guy got it wrong.
What the other guy say he did?
He said he was with some Doubleday radio program.
No.
Yes, he did.
All we wanted was Abner Doubleday. Look, I'd love to give you a sweatshirt if we had one, but unfortunately, I don't. I think we have about 80 left.
Why can't you give me one, though?
Because it's a matter of principle right now.
Can you tell? If I ask you a question,
Go ahead. If I can get the answer, you win one.
what team did Ben Tin Cup play for?
Oh, come on. That's a silly question.
Well, I want to get a sweatshirt.
The Chelsea Braves.
You're wrong.
Who?
Wait, I forget.
Yeah. You're a smart kid and you're trying to put me on?
No, you owe us.
You're like that
us
other
a
guy from
sweatshirt.
Situate.
Wait, the other guy said he was with the Lemon Abner radio program.
Yeah, but the kid didn't know, you know what I mean? He wasn't as sharp as you.
Well, since I'm so sharp, can't I have a sweatshirt?
Let's see. I think if we thought of another question for this kid, we could work up a sweatshirt for him. The kid's a genius, almost bordering on a genius.
What's Jim McCarthy's favorite food?
Smells.
Attaboy.
Do I get a sweatshirt?
Yes, you do.
Good.
Now hang on, and Network Ned Foster will take your name. Okay?
Yeah.
And thanks a lot for calling. Go ahead, Tony. It's your show.
You're on WBZ. Hello?
Ta-da!
Go ahead, sing.
I just want to say that all the members of Thayer Academy have a Thayer Academy Sports Huddle fan club, and we just...
How come you have that lisp? It's Thayer Academy, isn't it?
We're really upset that you guys are leaving. So on Tuesday, we're just going to stop school. Nobody's going to go to school.
Hey, do you know a kid by the name of Tom Clark?
Yeah.
He's a pretty good athlete, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a neighbor of mine.
Oh, he is?
Well, yeah, he lives next door.
Well, what I called up for was the answer to the quiz, but I just heard, I guess, for the second time that it was
Abner Doubleday.
Abner Doubleday.
Would you believe that anyone would get that? Who fired the first shot in the Civil War? And it was Abner Doubleday.
Yeah,
Isn't that ridiculous?
It was on national radio a little while ago, anyway.
It was?
Yeah.
You can see how hip we are.
Well, I also wanted to call up about the Attorney General's statement that anybody that buys season tickets doesn't have to pay for the extra 3 exhibition tickets.
Well, what did you want us to comment on? Just the statement?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's wonderful of Attorney General Quinn to bring this up now, but I'd like to know how you're going to get your money back and still get your season tickets. I wouldn't have the guts to go back to the Patriots, ask for my, what do we pay?
We paid $480 for 6 tickets. So what you do is divide by 12 and
6
multiply
into
times
48,
two. No,
and that's $80.
Divide
I
12
got it,
into
Eddie.
480, then multiply times 2.
I would hate to ask for my money back because I'd probably end up in the end zone. And from what I understand,
which will probably be anyway.
From the few words that I had to say to Mr. Sullivan or to Mr. Sullivan in London, I don't think they're having any great problem. I think it's this point has been brought up by several people, but I don't think they're having any big problems. They have 45,000 season ticket holders right now, and I don't hear too many beefs. You know, you pay your money and you take your chances. That's the way I look at it.
And anyway, maybe the exhibition games will be pretty good.
Yeah, but, you might get your money back.
Well, you could probably, if you fought it, you could probably get your money back. But really, why fight it?
Well, listen, if he wants to fight it, then he has his choice. He can always go to the games again.
Yeah, but, I happen to think they're going to have a pretty good team this year, and I'm looking forward to them. And the exhibition games, if you can't use your tickets, give them to somebody. You'll always, you'll get $1,000 worth of goodwill, I'm sure.
Well, thanks for letting me call. And could I end by just playing taps once more? I played once.
Okay, kid.
I just want to finish.
Pleasure. Is that taps?
No, he starts off with a big drum roll by banging the phone. Goodbye, Jimmy.
Goodbye, Eddie.
Goodbye, John. Goodbye, Arlene.
Bye, Mark. Bye, Tony C.
Bye, Wesley.
Bye, Lee Holbrook.
Bye, Bob.
Bye, Ann. Bye, Warren Olenbeck. Bye, security guard.
Bye, Network Ned.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Lee.
Bye, Bruce.
I like that.
Could I have one last favor?
Yes.
I always wanted to be blown up, so.
Well, I don't know. Can we arrange that? Have we
Could you get close to the phone?
Have we got the demolition squad ready?
You ready, kid?
Yep.
Good night.
Hey, let's give them another call-in question, because if they don't answer it, then WBZ and all the listeners will be aggravated for a long time. It's a very simple question. Who is Lou Carlisle? You got that? Who is Lou Carlisle? Very famous name, and has something to do with the world of sports. Lou Carlisle. Anyway, right now I want to have a word from my most darling sponsor. Darling.
Mr. Foreman.
Yes?
I'm from the television show Guess My Job.
Oh, yeah, Guess My Job.
We've never had anybody from a meat company on the program, so we wondered if anyone from Darling's Delicious Meats would like to go on the show.
Well, gee, that's nice of you, but they'd guess most of us guys right away.
How's that?
Well, take me. I'm the foreman here at LB Darling Company, and my name is Darling Foreman.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe somebody else.
I don't know. You can take a look at the roster.
Okay. How about this Red Heart?
Well, not red. You've seen that package of Darling's Delicious New England meatloaf with tomato juice with the Red Heart design on it. Red Heart is our package man. They'd guess red right away.
How about this Knoll Preservatives?
Well, no, you see, Darling's Delicious Meatloaf and Beef Burgers are all U.S. government-inspected beef, fresh frozen with no preservatives. And Knoll Preservatives is in charge of that.
Well, how about Rush Burger?
That's worse. Rush is our driver. And that's practically everybody except Willard in the burger department. And you couldn't use Willard.
What's his name, Willard Burger?
No, it's Willard Hiawatha. He's a Mohawk.
Oh, what's his job?
Chief grinder.
Okay, and we're back on the Sports Huddle, but first we got to remind you once more about Darling, and that's, boy, delicious beefsteaks.
And especially in the beach, when the fog comes rolling in, it's just 5 o'clock and everyone's feeling good.
Between games of a doubleheader?
Right. Wherever it may be, you just put some Darling delicious meat products on the grill, and everything's great.
And I do want to say the Darling people have been darling to us.
And you're next on WBZ and the Sports Huddle.
Hello, Jim.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm probably the biggest booster of the Sports Huddle around.
How big are you?
Pardon me?
How big are you?
Medium.
Well, that's all. Medium. I'll tell you one thing. That's all that's on that guy's mind.
5'4.5". But I've been trying to reach you guys for months, and I'm really surprised that I got through.
Well, we're glad you did.
And I'm glad I did, too, because of the last show. I'm awfully sad to see you go off the air.
Well, don't count us out, as we've said several times tonight.
Don't be sad. It makes other people too happy.
Because if you get sad, we'll get sad, and you'll see nothing worse or hear nothing worse than three of us crying.
You don't want to see a fat guy cry.
Well, I wrote WBZ a letter, and I wrote you guys a letter, and I talked to Sayanoff, and I talked to Network Ned, and I talked to just about everybody
When you went through all the big guys.
Well, I told them all it was crime because I don't see how WBZ could ever imagine replacing a show of your caliber.
You do realize that WBZ, like anybody else, is subject to many pressures in life, and things do happen.
Look, we want to thank WBZ because they gave us the opportunity to make an awful lot of friends. And, when we came here, we were only on the air, I'd say, about 6 months. So they really didn't know us, I don't think. And they didn't really know our style, and it probably came as a surprise to them and a lot of people. So, they have a right to pick and choose, I think, and every general manager has a right to pick and choose who he wants on his air. So we just want to thank them for the opportunity. We've had great fun.
Well, if you ever, I hope you do get picked up on another radio station and let everybody know.
Well, we'll be picked up for something. We are definitely going to have a blimp.
Well, I want to say one other thing. Leave proudly with your heads up. You always spoke your mind. But don't forget the fans of Boston that you'll be leaving behind.
Well, they're the only, be very frank with you, and we try to say it 100 times, probably didn't say it right, but the fans are the only people we're really thinking of. Believe it or not, no matter what these lightweights say that call up in private lines and make all their fishy accusations, the fans are the people we're thinking of, and as we've said to many people, both on the air and off the air, and the people that know us personally, we really don't need the radio. We're on it because we love it, and we're on it because we try to speak our pieces, and in many cases we relate to many of the fans, and this is all we have going, really.
Can I ask you a question, Jim? What do you think is the reason that one of the big people in Boston hasn't built a stadium for the Bruins? Because I think every game that did have a capacity crowd.
Well, there's only one reason, and it's a very, very basic reason: cost money. And we'd rather save our money than spend it, because if you go back over the last 100 or 200, 300 years, you save your money, and you just save it and save it and save it and save it, and you don't like to spend it because it's just one of those. I don't want to belabor the point because I might say the wrong thing, and we do want to go off with. We like to go out like Harry Sinden went out, and he went out with about a 5-minute speech. We're going out with a 4-hour one, but the reason there's no new stadium in Boston for hockey is because nobody wants to spend the money, and it's that simple.
Well, that's too bad.
And, madam, I'm awfully sorry you're only a medium.
Well, you're certainly not, Eddie. Good luck, and I hope I hear from you in Boston.
Thanks for everything.
Well, I got a couple of minutes here to tell everybody about a great place for you to investigate if you're a golfer or you're interested in taking up the fascinating game of golf. The Golf House, with stores in Norwell and Saugus, is open to serve the public. They have a full line of professional golf equipment. That's pro lines, bags, balls, shoes, gloves, and even a golf repair service right on the premises. Before you buy, try out a set of clubs at the Golf House's driving net. It's right in the middle of the store. Golf House has a sequence camera which assists in the best selection of clubs for you. They also have a professional right on the premises for better service and to help you with your selection. At the Golf House, you'll find great buys on all golf items. And what was it they have? Ping clubs, Jimmy?
Ping clubs is right, Eddie.
I guess that's a big thing if you like ping clubs, but I guess a lot of places don't have them, and they have ping clubs.
The Golf House is a pro-line shop where you can...
Is that a line from China or something? Okay. But anyway, the Golf House has 2 locations and their specialty stores, and all they have is golf houses. No pizzas, they have golf shoes, but they don't have all this jumbled merchandise. They're a specialty store, and they're dedicated to the science and the art of golf. They have 2 locations, one in Norwell, across from Queen Anne's Plaza on Route 53, and you got to take exit 30 off the Southeast Expressway. And in Saugus, Route 1 northbound, the corner of Route 129 beside the A&P. You go into Norwell and ask for Mark or Mike. They're great guys. They'll help you. Or in Saugus, ask for Dick. And don't forget in the Hamburg division of A&P to ask for Pierre. That's the Golf House, the professional people for the everyday golfer. They're open 365 days a year, less the number of Sundays. They're open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, Saturday until 6 p.m. And we do want to take this time of thanking the Golf House very much for sponsoring the Sports Huddle. And, they brought a lot of time in the show. They're great people. And I think probably the most fun I ever had in my life was going down there and talking about the Red Sox with a certain guy down there. Mark's passed me up by the name of Mark Cody, who was a funny, funny man. And someday I wish I could have him on the Sports Huddle to have him do his little vignette of Tom Yorkie playing Pepper with Louis Aparicio. It really is it's a classic.
I wonder how long it's going to take him to teach Dick Stockton to say careful and art and horse and Datchester, and I'll miss the language.
Okay, you're going to miss the phone call, too.
All right. Hello, you're on WBZ and the Sports Huddle.
Oh, can I please speak to Jim McCarthy?
Yes, you may. This is Jim.
Jim?
Yes.
I'm a New York Giants super-duper hater.
Attaboy. How old are you?
I'm 12.
Attaboy. Oh, listen, really, you're starting off life right, really. If you can learn to hate that way now, just think when you're 20 how you'll feel.
I know. I got a beautiful score.
Okay.
31-3 Rams.
31-3 Rams. That's our favorite, to be very frank with you. That is our favorite score. So what else is new? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Rhode Island.
How are things in Rhode Island?
Good.
That's a boy.
I get a question for you.
I hope it's not too hard.
It is.
Oh.
Who was the first pitcher to pitch a perfect game in the major leagues?
The first pitcher to pitch a perfect game.
Tony C?
Tony C knows this.
His name was Robinson.
Nope.
No.
Who was it?
Cy Young.
Cy Young. Who was Cy Young? Jim Lomberg we know, but no Cy Young.
Well, Cy Young was Cy Yanoff's grandfather.
Because Cy Young won 511 games, didn't he?
How do you know so much, Tony?
Well,
that's not counting exhibition games.
That's right. I'm the world's greatest expert on
Hey, that was
sports.
a hard question, you know what?
Yeah, I know.
I think you deserve a sweatshirt.
Oh, good.
Okay. Okay? Hang on. Listen.
I got a good trade for you.
Hey, listen, you're full of stuff tonight.
I
What's
know.
the trade?
Tom Yaki for Weston Adams.
Oh, please. No, listen, you're a mean kid at 12, you know what? I'm glad you come from Rhode Island and not around here, you know what I mean? We can keep you out of town. Okay?
Yeah, I miss you a lot.
Well, we'll miss you too.
All right.
Thanks for the call.
Okay.
Take care.
Boy, Jimmy, I don't know. You really get around because he didn't go on the air, but he just said so long, Dada. Anyway, we do want
Rhode Island?
Well, listen, could be anywhere. Right now, I would like to tell everybody that coming up in the next hour, we're going to have Bobo and his Patriots fight song, which unfortunately only 25 pieces from Northeastern recorded when there's supposed to be a full orchestra of 70. But still, I think you'll get the gist of the tune, and if you like it, Bobo is going to work along with it and be playing it here on WBZ. I spoke to Cy Yanoff, and Cy said in a couple of weeks he'd give it some time, at least 1 or 2 shots on one of the music programs. And if it's a good song and the fans like it and the Patriots adopt it, well, then it's not only be the official fight song of the Patriots, but Bobo Winnick is going to win himself a couple of season tickets, compliments of Billy Sullivan. So that's coming up in the next hour. And let's see, what else we got coming up? Well, we got Tony C is going to take a few more calls, New England's greatest sports expert. And Tony, incidentally, are you all through with Mamie Van Doren?
Oh, yes, I am. I found her really, our relationship just fizzled. I mean, she just didn't have what I wanted in a woman. And now I seem to have an infatuation with Peggy Cass. I mean, she's more my type. I think our voices seem to match and blend quite well.
Okay, next on WBZ and the Sports Huddle, and with the great Tony C., New England's greatest sports expert.
This is the great Tony C.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thanks. I was wondering if you were aware that Jarvis Tatum, one of the guys they traded you for, is out of the America now.
He's out of where?
America.
He's in Japan.
He's in Japan. Well, that's a good place for Jarvis Tatum. I think he'll make it big there.
Well, under the terms of the Kellogg-Briand Treaty, we have to give them every 2 Tatums for every 3 of ours.
I never realized that.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Hey, remember the night we started all that stuff with the Tatums?
Yeah.
When they first announced, we were calling. It was a great night because the Red Sox traded Jarvis Tatum and Ken Tatum for Tony C., and we called Tatums all over the United States.
And by and large, they were nice people.
And they all loved sports, which was the greatest.
And they all knew the 2 Tatums.
Yeah. So we felt that, of course, the Red Sox were trying
Personally.
they were trying to corner the market on Tatums, and that way they might win the pennant, and who knows?
Of course, Don Blasingame went to Japan, and Dick Stewart, so there's been quite a few ball players who've gone there.
Right.
And of course, there are many Red Sox players we, over the years, had wished would go there and stay there. And
Hi, it's Carl Stromke.
How are you, Carl?
Just fine, thanks.
And Carl, you got any advice for the youngsters?
Yeah, I tell them to stay off drugs.
And you're thanks very much for the call.
Well, hold on, I have one more thing for you. This is dedicated to the New York Giants. It's the dance of the Sugar Plum Giants.
Are you going to dance for us?
Fran Tarkenton and Bobby Duhan.
Are you going to dance for us? Is he dancing? I can't see.
Yeah,
Hopefully he's dancing.
Yeah, he's down.
You want to bring in?
He's dancing in his bedroom.
Lee, you want to bring in camera 3?
His tights are so sheer.
Goodbye, Jimmy.
What was that?
Well, anyway,
Cut himself.
good luck, guys.
Okay, so long.
Bye.
Bye. And you're next on WBZ in the Sports Huddle with the great, the infamous Tony C.
Hello.
Hi there, sportsman.
Hello, Tony C.
Yes, this is Tony C.
Hi, I'd like to take a guess at your question.
Guess, please.
Is this Al Carlisle, I believe?
Luke Howard.
Luke Howard.
Carlisle, excuse me. Was he the guy who in 1967 made the Red Sox pennant-winning official by putting the final 0 up on the scoreboard in left field?
No,
He wasn't.
that was John Kiley, the organist.
No, I guess I'm wrong on that. All right, I have something, a word of information. I'm out in Wellesley here.
Oh.
And I'd like to inform you that we have formed a Don Pavletic fan club.
He's one of my favorite ball players.
And it was great just watching him today on television when his throw, trying to throw out the speedy Paul Blair, actually reached second base.
Well, he has a great arm. I mean, it's really something to see in action, and I hope we don't see it in action because the Red Sox lose when he fires the ball.
And we were very pleased at that.
Well, I know he must have been thrilled.
You're very good on sports. So one question, is Doug Camilli, the guy who put Ken Tatum out of action, really a relative of Spiro Agnew?
Well, I don't believe that's true.
No?
Because Agnew doesn't really hurt anybody that much, except Republicans. And Tim's not a Republican.
If I do a imitation of Kai Yastrzemski, could I win a sweatshirt?
Well, if it's good enough.
If it's good enough. Well, hi, I'm Kai Yastrzemski. I'm a superstar for Boston Red Sox. And you eat some of my big-ass bread, and you can be a big team player like I am.
No, you don't win a sweatshirt.
I don't win a sweatshirt?
No. But thank you very much for the call.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, take care.
Right.
You're next on WBZ in the Sports Huddle.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm not a house show or anything. I'm just a common fan.
Okay, common fan.
Yeah, I'm still glad you people are going off the air, though.
Well, listen, it's, to each his own. I'm sure that you're not, there are a few people who would like to see us off. We know that.
Yeah, but I think you three ignorant stiffs that have nothing better to do than cut up people and take cheap shots at them.
Really, that's...
Dick Stockton came along and you praised him to the sky, but when you found out he was going to replace your show, all of a sudden you cut him up.
We haven't
cut up Guy Manila, who was 3 times the class you people will ever be.
There is no question.
Yeah, and also, if you people were so good, you wouldn't have to have outside jobs either. You'd be full-time broadcasters.
That's right. That's right.
You're hypocrites. All the people that talk on the show for any length of time,
That's right.
the ones that agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
You won't allow anybody else's opinion. It's a one.
Well, listen, kid,
it's a one-track
take
show.
10 minutes. Look, I'll give you 5 more minutes. Anything else you want to say, you say. You're on the radio. Everybody can hear you now. Keep going.
Okay, I'm the same. I'm glad you're off.
Keep
You
going.
people just...
Well, keep going.
Steve Fredericks was put it just right. He could accomplish more in one show than you could in a month.
Right. What else?
What else? You people just hit people from behind and run.
Right.
That's your style.
We're yellow, right? Nice meeting you, Paul.
Yes, it's nice meeting you, Jim.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Goodbye.
And you're next on WBZ and the Sports Huddle. Hello?
Hello, Eddie?
Yes.
First of all, I'd like to say that you talk just as good as George Scott.
Thank you very much.
Saying
I went to his school for after-dinner speaking.
Yes, and I was down the Natick Mall. I'm George at Chelsea. Me and my 2 friends remember us?
Well, I certainly could never forget you. You made a lasting impression.
So how could you ever stoop so low to criticize the great city of Chelsea and all these things you've been saying?
Chelsea is the garden
Virginia near Chelsea, the Chelsea Braves, Jim. How could you do this?
I love Chelsea.
I love Chelsea.
Then how could you say these things?
Because we love Chelsea.
Oh, well,
You know, there's a very thin line between love and hate.
That's especially in Chelsea.
Well,
As a matter of fact, we're planning our next Sports Huddle trip to Chelsea.
As a matter of fact, does Chelsea have a radio station?
No.
No?
Sorry.
Well,
And I'd like to say something about you guys that other people don't know. I learned a lot when we went to the Natick Mall. Now, you told us, the other fans don't know, that you gave away your Bruins season tickets.
No, don't say it, really.
You don't want us to tell?
No.
No, I still want to tell.
Everybody does charity things.
I still want to tell.
No, we'll take you. No, really don't. Seriously, the one thing I never like to do. Charity comes from the heart and not for publicity reasons.
Yeah,
and there's
but
a lot of guys in this business that we've met that do things for charity, and really, it's not. It doesn't belong on the air. I don't want that. Okay.
Yeah, but that kid that.
That's all right. Let him. He's entitled to his opinion. This is America. We've never taken anybody off the air that wants to criticize the Sports Huddle, and we've had plenty of them.
Well, with that kid that what just said about you, who thinks that you don't do anything.
Well, what does he know? What does he know?
I know. That's what I said. And you're going to call up, you could have some suggestions last week. Are you going to call up Tolo Tanaka?
We tried to get in touch with him.
You can't get him?
No, he's out of the country right now, but he is coming back sometime in August. And I'm personally going to be at the docks when he comes. He's coming in on a banana boat from Australia.
Yeah. And did you hear when Ken Tatum got hit by a bungo bat?
No, I guess he took kind of a bad whack.
Did Eddie Popowski have anything to do with that?
No. Popowski was thrown out of a game today.
He was?
Yeah.
How about the Fox?
The Fox was thrown out, too.
Oh, that was unbelievable.
And that's probably why they won the second game, because they didn't have Popowski or the Fox.
Well, I'd just like to say I hope you come to Chelsea.
I certainly will.
And if you come, I'm on 21 Blossom Street, Chelsea.
Okay.
Thank you.
So long.
All right, bye, Eddie.
All right, you're next on the Sports Huddle.
Hello, Eddie.
No, this is Mark.
Mark?
Yes.
I'd like to congratulate you on a really great show.
Thank you.
And I wonder if I could win a sweatshirt. If I made up a poem, and I really think you'd enjoy it.
Well, no promises. Let's hear it.
Okay, it's titled The Montreal Express. They came on down to Boston town. Their lineup was a mess. We thought the Bees would win with ease. As much we must confess. That seventh game, they took that aim, and it was fate, I guess. They got cold feet. They couldn't beat the Montreal Express. Chicago's win would do them in. This was the expert's guess. The Hawks we crowned. They'd blow them down in
Is someone tickling you?
Get hold of yourself, kid.
In 7 games I left. But
As a matter of fact, don't.
Look at me, his goals brought happiness. At 3-2, the cup went to the Montreal Express.
Hey, that was pretty bad. Tony C., well, first Mark's going to say who brought us this hour of the Sports Huddle, and I want to really have a long farewell to you.
The Standard Electric Company, 267 Lexington Street in Waltham. Darling's Darling, delicious meat products at fine food stores everywhere. And the Golf House in Norwell and Saugus, the professional golf people for the everyday golfer.
And Tony C., you got time for one last call. Go ahead, before the street.
You're on WBZ.
Tony C.
Yes, this is the great Tony C.
Tony C. This is Eddie Buckley from Arlington. Do you know? Remember my brother Bob?
Oh yeah, he works with me.
Yeah. Eddie. Is Eddie there?
Well, why don't you want to talk to me?
Oh. Oh, I don't know.
How many other guys work with you at the morgue, Tony?
Oh, so many. Well, go ahead, ask a question. That's a good question.
Oh. Hey, remember a couple of words they used to say when they were on WUNR? Remember Cy Gorilla and Rooster?
Yes. You want me to say them?
Words?
You think we should go back to those, kid?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we will. Who knows?
Yeah, and I want to say the greatest Giants hater in the world.
You are?
Yeah.
How old are you?
13.
You got a great start.
And I'm going to watch all the games and just pray for them to lose.
Oh, kid, you're beautiful.
All right. We'll see you.
Take care.
Bye.
You know, one of these days, we're going to get in touch with Marty Glickman. I understand he called the station and wanted to trade appearances. And
what can we offer now?
He can one with Larry Justice.
But anyway, I'm going to be in New York this week. I want to give him a call, and I really want to get on his show at least one night and have a full debate with the New York Giants lover, Marty Glickman, and see what we can't do to him. I think it'll be kind of interesting. And everybody tells me he's a good sport. So we'll see, because I want to recall those great moments of Bobby Doohan and the fumbles and everything that goes on with the Giants. But anyway, Tony C., thanks so much. You've added so much to our show. It's always great when you have an appearance on the Sports Huddle, and we're going to look forward to some more appearances to you in the future, I'm sure.
Well, thank you very much, and I just love being here, and I've loved doing every show that I've done. And thank you, and thank all the fans for listening.
Well, you're a great credit to printers everywhere. Okay. That's Tony Ciccarello, the great Tony C. And coming right up right now, the late but great Streeter Stewart with the 10 o'clock news, all the big stories that are happening, and then we'll be back with more Sports Huddle until midnight. We're going to go right out to the parking lot now and say hello to the people.
The Spirit of New England, WBZ Boston, Group W, Westinghouse Broadcasting. It's 57 degrees in Boston. Tonight's low will be in the 30s. I'm Streeter Stewart reporting the 10 o'clock WBZ News. Federal Communications Commissioner Nicholas Johnson urged young people today to stand up to big business, big broadcasting, big government, and to seek humanizing reforms and changes. And he added that if you cast your talents with the big corporations, it's going to take Ralph Nader and me and thousands of other Americans a lot longer to bring about reforms. A citywide curfew is in effect in Chattanooga, Tennessee, following 2 nights of disturbances. Mayor Robert Walker said he had asked that the National Guard be made available. The trouble began after the star of a rock musical show refused to perform, saying he had not been paid in advance. As a result, young blacks roamed the downtown area, breaking windows. They also ripped up seats in the auditorium and ripped doors from their hinges. Former Attorney General Ramsey Clark says mass arrests without probable cause could mean we're losing our freedom. Group W correspondent Matt Cooney reports.
The former Attorney General cautioned against mass arrests. If this nation permits police to pick up people and detain them merely because we're frightened, Clark said, we've lost our freedom. His comments came in response to a question about mass arrests by Washington police of May Day demonstrators who were trying to block government workers from getting to work. Without directly criticizing the police or the administration, Clark said people should not be arrested unless there is evidence that they violated the law. It is intolerable, he declared, for the police ever to act in excess of the law. There have been widespread reports that at least some innocent bystanders were picked up along with anti-war demonstrators when police sought to unsnarl Washington traffic by making mass arrests earlier this month. In an interview here, the former Attorney General said, the thing that's made this country great has been freedom. It's released our energies and made us real builders and movers. Now the question, he said, is whether fear is going to change all that. Matt Cooney, Group W News, Washington.